This is the cloud built for AI and all your biggest workloads. Right now, with zero commitment, try OCI for free. Head to oracle.com/Kim. That's oracle.com/Kim.
Talkback is sponsored by The Clinics. With 27 providers and 3 locations, someone can see you today.
It's Talkback, Central Louisiana's longest-running talk show. Whether it's the guests or the callers, Talkback is where Central Louisiana begins its conversation.
Hey, good morning, everyone. Welcome to Talkback here on your Tuesday. I'm Al Portamont, joined by Stephen Maxwell, as per usual. How are you, sir?
Good.
Yeah.
What a day.
What a day. A bit of a newsmaker day, to say the least. So we went from Trump is going to be sending all of our sons to war, to a ceasefire, to both sides violating the ceasefire.
We've been everywhere since yesterday.
Yeah, like Johnny Cash. We've been everywhere, man.
Oh, my goodness. Yeah, I saw yesterday evening, they had that ceasefire in place. The president announced that. Then a couple hours later, he's dropping F-bombs on TV.
Yeah, he did. He said these two sides have been fighting so long, they don't know what the bleep they're doing. Which...
got a point.
Yeah, I was going to say, he's not wrong. And I think he's frustrated because he wants there to be peace between these two sides. If there's one thing you kind of see about Trump, he doesn't like war. He really doesn't. Now, he won't hesitate to use means to accomplish a goal militarily, but I think what he doesn't like, the long drawn-out, protracted wars that we've had, Iraq, Afghanistan, other places, and trying to avoid that with this situation for sure.
And it's hard to know exactly what he means when he's saying it's not politically correct to say regime change.
Mm-hmm,
but I think that makes a lot of people nervous because it's something that rarely works when a foreign government does it.
Yeah.
And he's been against that since I've heard him talk about Iraq, Afghanistan. But when you talk about regime change, that makes a lot of Americans nervous on both sides.
No question. And I think if there is going to be a, quote, regime change in Iran, it's going to have to come from the Iranian people.
Yeah.
Which right now they say that the power structure in Iran, as far as those in leadership, is only about 4% of the Iranians. But when you have all the guns and the force, that's all you really need, unfortunately, because we've seen at times when the people have tried to change things, they just get mowed down.
I don't know. It just seems like the administration is sounding a lot more neocon, which is something that he's been against. I heard Caroline Leavitt say on one of the cable shows, I think it was Fox yesterday, that all dictators should be on notice. And I mean, we get what they're probably trying to say, but it's just some of the rhetoric is changing lately.
It is, yeah. I would agree with you, but I don't see this administration desiring to go whole-scale war or anything like that. Hopefully I'm right. Hopefully I'm not wrong, because that would not be good. I don't think anybody wants that. I think Americans are tired of that. But at the same time, when you hear what's going on in Iran kind of underground, beneath the scenes, that a lot of people are wanting freedom there. I hope they can do that. I really do.
Yeah.
Because this regime that has ruled that country since the late 70s has been brutal. They've been the largest sponsor of terror around the world. And the way they've treated their own people, especially women, is just horrific. So hopefully something can change.
But it all comes down to what is America's role in that?
Yeah. Right. I mean, and I feel like America, we vacillate between being the world's policeman and then isolationists.
Yeah.
And the truth probably lies...
That's a big thing to oscillate between.
Right. And yet it's probably somewhere in between. Because I think without America trying to promote freedom around the world, I don't know, the world I think would be a lot different. Because who else is really doing that?
Promoting it through militarized force, I mean, how much has that worked?
No, it really,
You know?
I agree with you. I mean,
And some might call it almost imperialist at that point.
Well, we saved the world twice in the 1900s.
That's true. Us and a couple others.
Yeah, but then when you look at what happened in places like Korea and Vietnam,
it's tough.
Yeah.
Like it's never black and white. You wish it could be.
Yeah.
But it's always a lot of gray in there.
No doubt. 442-8255 is our phone number on Talkback. Here's what we have coming up for you on the show today. Around 7:45, Wilbert Carmouche will be here from Travel Avoyelles. We'll find out what's happening in the parish coming up here in the month of July. Can't believe it's almost July.
In the parish.
In the parish. And then at 8:05, it's our monthly segment with LSU Alexandria, Dr. Nate Salmons. He's the Assistant Vice Chancellor of Engaged Teaching and Learning and the Dean of the College of Science, Technology, and Mathematics. He'll talk about some of the new academic programs coming to the school, including the increase in AI teaching.
Yeah.
And then finally at 8:30.
Uh-oh, Al.
From Cleco, Brooke Buford will be here.
No, the AI thing.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I saw your eyes like kind of glaze over there, like, oh, here we go.
Here we go.
Al's a professor, if you don't know.
Yeah. I need to get more up to speed on it, but
it could streamline some of your more monotonous things.
Oh, yeah, definitely. But at the same time, we don't want people to lose all their critical thinking skills.
That's true. Do we have any? I don't know if we have any anymore.
Haven't I always promoted that? Anyway, Brooke will be here to talk about ways you can save energy and money during these hot and humid summer months. I was cracking up listening to CBS, the roundup this morning, and the guy that they had on, the weather guy, Rob Marciano, just like the urgency with his voice. There could be record temperatures fall the first time since 1888. And then it hit me. I'm like, wait a minute. I mean, we had like record temperatures back in 1888.
Yeah.
Because all you hear is like, it's only recently that everything is so hot. So if the record temperatures have existed since 1888, must have been a little hot back then too.
I was on YouTube watching some political commentators, and they're like, "Oh, we're just struggling through the heat wave." I was like, "Am I missing something? Like, what's going on here?"
Yeah,
this is hot. It's summer.
Yeah, exactly. It's summer. Wait a minute. You mean to tell me at almost July 1st we have close to 100-degree temperatures in parts of the country?
I was talking to somebody in Narbia the month of the meeting they have in Pineville. And we were like, I feel like I'm so acclimated to this nasty, humid, soupy weather. When I go anywhere else, my body just shrivels up. It's like I have to be here. Yeah. It's like I got used to the pressure somewhere else, and I just can't get acclimated. It's like I'm stuck in space.
It's like you're a fish out of water if you're not.
That's right.
Literally.
I'm swimming every day.
All right, let's go to the phones this morning. Good morning. You're on Talkback.
Hey, good morning. Thank you for taking my call. I tell you what is black and white. It is the duty of our government to keep our people safe. Yes. And Al, you hit on it. We have got to remember and keep in the center of our sights what the world would be like without American intervention. Because we know from 250 years ago before what it was like, and we know what they tried to do even after we were made. We know the ugliness of man because we know the fallen nature of man. Only now he has weapons that can eliminate the planet. So yes, we've been clumsy in our attempts to do good throughout the world. But if we think about it, we can analyze and see where we went wrong. Everywhere we went wrong in the quote unquote regime changes was where politics got involved. Our government should make the determination, just as our founder said, that this is a threat, and then authorize the commander-in-chief and the armed forces to go and eliminate that threat and then come home. And I'm hoping that's what Trump will do. I'm hoping the comments that Stephen said he made yesterday are one-offs and or not indicating that he plans on becoming a George Bush and trying to solve all the world's problems. We can't, but we can eliminate the problems that threaten us. I think as citizens, that's our duty, is to promote and to keep these politicians aware of their primary duty, which is to keep us safe, and then secondarily, not to try to fix everyone's problem, because we can't make people love each other. We can't make Muslims treat women right or gays right. We're never going to be able to do that stuff. But what we can do is eliminate threats like we did the other night. That's our job. We all have a job in this, and then it's to pray that God would give us the wisdom to apply biblical principles to what we're doing, because that's where we've been successful in the My 3-year-old granddaughter is asking me something, so I'm going to have to let y'all go. Y'all have a great day.
Thank you.
All right.
Thanks.
Yeah, it always comes down to, like,
Bye-bye.
what extent, you know?
Yeah.
So,
Well,
it could be a slippery slope.
You know, from that to the way we've seen the CIA operate in foreign countries.
There's so much we don't know, man.
Yeah. and when it comes to light and we're like, oh, we did that? Oh, we were involved in that? Yeah.
100%.
It's a little sketch. Not a little. A lot sketch.
We're living in our own world.
Exactly. All right. Good morning. You're on Talkback.
So I'm confused.
Mm-hmm.
The record temperature was in 1888.
That's what they
How
said.
How many SUVs were on the road then?
Well, the issue is you had a lot more cows farting back then.
No, it's the Model Ts.
The Model T was not until that 1900s.
It's a joke. It was a joke.
Well, not a very accurate one.
And it might have been Buffalo farts. So, you know, Buffalo Bill probably did us a favor in that respect, and the others.
Well, it was honestly, they'll probably blame it on the coal-fired plants at the time. Because coal did exist. You know, the locomotives, the iron horse back then.
True.
Was probably what it was.
Yeah.
So, you know, another thing, I wasn't going to say this until your last caller, but having read the Constitution more than once, you know what word is not in the Constitution or any of the amendments? Safety. Safe. The duty of the government is not to keep us safe. It's to give us liberty. That's what the duty of the government is.
Yeah, and I agree with you, but at the same time, do you not see the role of government to protect people that keep the law, punish those that break it, and then to provide for the defense of the country against enemies, whether they be domestic or foreign?
I believe that there is provision for the common defense, which is not in the Constitution. It's in the preamble.
Right.
But I would say this, that defense of the commonplace is not safe. Actual act of defending the country is not safe.
Mm-hmm.
So safety is no guarantee in the Constitution, nor any provision for safety in it.
Well, wouldn't you say to some extent the Second Amendment is for that purpose?
The Second Amendment is correct to protect us from our government. But again, the act of protecting ourselves from a tyrant is not safe.
Mm-hmm.
That in its fact is dangerous.
I feel like it's semantics at this point.
Well, if you want the people to comply, confuse their definitions.
Well, true. Well, there's been plenty of that, that's for sure. I mean, you even saw yesterday where the Supreme Court came out 6-3 decision, basically that allows the administration to send, as part of the deportation process, illegals to third countries. And then a lower court judge basically said, sorry, we're not going to do that. I mean, these lower court judges are out of control at this point. It is insane.
Well, it's almost like the mistake in the Constitution was allowing for federal judges to have lifetime appointments. There's no accountability. Once they're on the bench, they're not accountable to the people.
Yeah.
It's the only branch of government that is not directly accountable to the voter.
Yeah, that's a good point. That is a good point. All right, thank you again for the call. Always appreciate it. All right, we're going to take a break. More Talkback coming up for the people.
Talkback is sponsored by The Clinics with 27 providers and 3 locations. Someone can see you today. Stick around. More of Talkback is on the way.
This is a Bloomberg Money Minute. Wall Street looks set for a higher open. Crude oil prices are moving lower as investors keep a close watch on developments in the Middle East. Stocks rose yesterday across the board by almost 1%. The Dow was up 375 points. Investors will be paying close attention to what Fed Chair Jay Powell will have to say when he testifies today before the House Financial Services Committee. He will deliver remarks tomorrow at the Senate Banking Committee. Powell is expected to be grilled over the Fed's position to hold interest rates steady for now, ignoring President Donald Trump's persistent calls to lower rates. U.S. auto safety regulators are looking into incidents where Tesla's self-driving robo-taxis appeared to violate traffic laws during the company's first day offering paid rides in Austin. The National Highway Traffic Safety Administration said that it is aware of the incidents that were captured in videos posted on social media and that it's gathering additional information from the company. Gina Cervetti, Bloomberg Radio.
If you'd like to take part in the show today, call the BOM Bank Talk line at 442-8255. That's 442-TALK. And remember, if you're looking to purchase or refinance your home, call Christina Bagwell at the BOM Bank Mortgage Department at 448-2430.
Now back to Talk Back, 970 AM, 104.9 FM, KSYO.
Kind of the same subject. I just saw Matt Walsh. He played that clip of Trump saying that both sides don't know what the bleep they're doing, and said, this is why the U.S. just needs to back out of this completely. Let those countries sort it out. Not our problem. We don't need to be policing it. Trump has done all he can. Time to focus on ourselves.
Yep. His talking head base is, I would say, largely against any more intervention.
Yeah, I think you're right. Back to the phones we go on the BOM Bank Talk line. Good morning. You're on Talkback.
I'm glad you said something about the weather. It seems like we have 24-hour weather channels.
Oh, totally. Yeah.
Man.
Like our good friends at Sandlot Weather.
Oh. Well, at KL, everything, they go 200 million people under, there's, 320 million people in the United States. So what?
Yeah.
Everybody got hot.
It's
anyway.
Summer.
Yeah, really. They're all waiting for bated breath for that hurricane, though. They would be going bonkers.
We had yesterday at the North Rapids Business and Industry Alliance meeting, Mike Johnson always brings in Tom Convica and Nick Mikulas to give a weather update. And Tom was talking about how so far, all we've really seen from a hurricane standpoint has been more in the Pacific, but that's likely to change in the coming months as we get into the deeper part of the Atlantic hurricane season. So
better watch out.
I know.
You're crossing over the weather, people.
That's it.
God bless.
Thanks. Thank you. Appreciate it.
And I don't mean this in any derogatory way whatsoever, but one of my favorite things about not working in our previous profession is having to hear about the weather 24/7, 365. I love the weather when I want to know about the weather. And I just, when you're sitting there on that desk and all you hear is temperatures and the tropics and the frontal lobes moving through, like it gets old. The fronts, I don't know.
The front.
You know what I'm saying?
Lobes.
Did you like it? It just got old, man.
I know what you mean.
Oh my gosh.
Let's be honest, during the weather, we probably were on our phones checking stuff.
I still had to hear it. It's like whenever you're watching your kids' baby shows over.
Well, and you were on a morning show, and morning shows formats tend to be weather like every 10 minutes.
Every 10 seconds.
Yeah.
Short little weather.
But that's the number one thing that draws people to the show.
Hey, I'm not disagreeing with it. I mean, it's a smart move. It's just, as a curmudgeon like myself, I'm glad I don't have to hear it 24/7.
Just tell me if it's going to rain today and how hot it's going to be.
And I like to annoy the weather people, but like, hey, what's it going to be like exactly at my house, exactly at this time?
Yeah, because, even when we were driving back, we were up in Arkansas Saturday and Sunday, driving back Sunday, it was one of those fronts where you had storms popping up here and there. And when we got to Kingsville, it was absolute downpour.
Mm-hmm.
By the time we got out to like that Marlar Ford area, nothing.
Yeah, it's those summer showers.
Yeah,
summer showers.
Got to the house and you can tell it hadn't rained all weekend. Yeah. And I'm like, this is just so weird.
I think that's the way it is in June and July.
Yeah.
You just kind of have these little pop-ups. Yeah. In Florida, it was like that all the time on the coast.
Oh, I imagine so.
Just random showers and it's back to being perfect.
Mm-hmm. So. Did you find the coast to be less humid than like inland is for some reason?
Not in the Panhandle.
Oh, okay.
It's pretty much like here.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Because I know we went to the beach about a month ago, and that wind coming off.
Where at?
It was Perdido Key.
Oh, okay. Where is that on? Is that the peninsula?
Yes. No. I don't know. It's just past like Mobile and that area.
Oh, so that's the Panhandle.
Yeah, okay. That's considered the Panhandle.
Forget all those places. Like, there's so many places in Florida, you get them all confused.
Mm-hmm,
Even if you live there, you don't know the places.
But like when you're like right on the beach and the wind's blowing off.
Oh, yeah, maybe.
The Gulf of America, it felt refreshing. But then you got like a mile inland and it was like, oh, it feels humid here.
Maybe, yeah. I don't know. It was pretty hot, man, in Panama City.
Yeah. Even on the beach?
Sometimes it's just not windy like you think it would be.
Yeah, that would be a factor.
Oh, so beautiful, though. So nice.
Yes.
The Florida beaches.
I'm not generally a big beach person, but actually kind of enjoyed the trip that we took this time.
Good. Why? Because your grandkid was there?
Probably so.
Yeah. You're just tired of your regular kids.
And then we'd gone to Biloxi a couple weeks ago, and that was surprisingly nice beaches that they have there.
Not near as nice, but nice enough.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I could see spending some time there.
Beats Holly Beach.
Yeah.
Lord have mercy.
Hey, that's one of Miculus's favorite fishing spots.
Oh, yeah, for fishing.
So don't rag on Holly Beach.
I wouldn't go there for like a picture-perfect day. It's got some nice spots. Don't call me hating on your Mac if you love Holly Beach. It's just not the rest of the coast.
Don't make our callers mad.
I know. Shoot.
Talking about like
I'm
on fire.
going to work on my accurate jokes.
Yeah. You're still developing your timing.
That's right, yes.
I mean, radio is a different medium than television, so...
I got to remember when the Model T came out.
The 1900s, not the 1800s.
I know it. Should have done that. The camera came out in the 1800s. I got them confused.
Oh, that's right. That's right. Who is the guy from the Civil War? Matthew, the photographer? Oh, gosh. Remember?
From the Civil War?
Yeah.
I don't remember that.
He had like a whole crew of Civil War photographers that a lot of the pictures you see from the Civil War. Matthew Brady, I think that was his name.
Oh, okay. I did not remember that.
I think we talked about that in photojournalism.
That's a long time ago. You didn't remember it either.
Well, I haven't taught it in a few years. My colleague teaches it now.
It hasn't been taught to me in a few years.
But your photojournalism skills are right on point these days.
I love it.
Your videography skills.
Yeah.
With your little Osmo camera.
My little Osmo
If you guys see Steven out on his stories now, he basically has almost looks like a monopod, but it's a tripod because the little legs shoot out. And then he's got this tiny camera on there, and you're thinking, what is he doing with this? And then you see the final product, and you're like, wow, that looks really nice.
It's got a built-in gimbal. It's fantastic. Gimbal is the thing that stabilizes all your shots.
Right.
Because back in the day, you'd have to buy this expensive gimbal, and then you get this expensive camera, and
yeah, they used
hook
to
it up.
call it a steady cam back in the day.
Steady cam, yeah.
Now it's just like some little device you hold in your hand, and it's like when you move your hand, it keeps the head of the camera stable.
Yep.
If that makes sense.
Pretty cool. I love it.
And so yesterday, you went to a local sports collector's shop?
Yeah, I went to Major League Collectibles and a little bit Mo. No R, Mo. You might know him. Well-known son-in-law basketball coach, runs it now, Mr. Tinsley, and talked to him. And it's a fantastic place on North MacArthur Drive. I'll have the video here in a couple hours. Depends on what happens today.
And then at Narbia, you also had a chance to talk with the PIO from Pineville Police Department about that home invasion the other day.
Nothing came out of that. He says that we're hoping to get some more information fairly soon. So maybe, I have no idea. I can't speculate, but
yeah,
just trying to wait to get some more information on that horrific story that's off of the neighborhoods off of 28 in Pineville. So just waiting to get some information.
For people that haven't heard, what was it that happened?
Let me get out I don't want to give any wrong information. Let me get the news release.
Put them on the spot.
Yeah.
Right there.
I have to remember all these.
But isn't it nice, though, that you have a city like Pineville that they trust their PIO to communicate with the media?
I like that Pineville does do that, yes. That's how Shreveport was when I worked there, too. Their PIO, who is actually from here.
Really?
Yeah. He was on top of things, very receptive, and would give us information pretty quickly. So a man forcibly entered a home on the 100 block of Hilton Court. The van was armed, demanded money before intentionally setting the home on fire. The residents were taken to the hospital for treatment. The Pineville police say it's a brutal and senseless act of violence. They are working with the Louisiana State Fire Marshal, arson investigators. They're urging residents in the area of Fox Street, Hembling Street, and Hilton Court to review surveillance footage. I know the detectives have been working on that, and hopefully we'll have some information for us here soon. So they seemed a little optimistic about it.
Pineville PD is doing a really good job of being proactive with information. If you follow them on Facebook, they even have a little humor at times.
No, he's pretty funny.
Yeah.
Whoever runs that social media page is pretty funny.
Yeah, they do a good job.
That's kind of like what police and sheriff's departments are doing across the country. Who can be the funniest?
I'm
Get
for
your
it.
attention.
I'm here for it.
That's right.
Okay, speaking of getting your attention, I'm not sure why I just brought that up, but Wilbur Carmouche is going to be stepping in when we come back, and we'll find out what's happening down in Avoyelles Parish in the month of July. So stay tuned.
KSYL.
Close your eyes and feel the sun-drenched breeze of southern Spain. From whitewashed villages to golden beaches, this is where history meets passion. Moorish palaces, flamenco night, and unforgettable tapas. This small group, escorted by Annie and Christine in March 2026, will visit Seville, Cordoba, Granada, Marbella, and more. Join our spectacular Spain tour, beaming with culturally rich and local experiences. FreedomTravelLLC.com, your international travel architect.
You too could have a beautiful smile in as little as 12 weeks. Exclusive to Today's Dental in Pineville, Virtual Align Clear Aligners, the fastest, most convenient, affordable way to straighten your teeth for people on the go. Plus, they're invisible. No one will know you're doing it. Experience the Virtual Align difference. Call Today's Dental at 448-4540. It's a general dental facility on Highway 28 East in Pineville, owned by Dr. Jonas Goche. 448-4540.
Teens are using social media to buy what they think are prescription pills, like Oxy, Xanax, or Adderall. But these pills are actually made with a cheaper, stronger, and more deadly synthetic called fentanyl. You cannot see it, smell it, or taste it. Naloxone and fentanyl testing strips are available for free through many community service organizations to help prevent opioid overdose. Carry naloxone and know the signs of an overdose. If you or a loved one needs help, go to opioidhelpla.org. Brought to you by the Louisiana Department of Health.
Tell me what's going on. What's going on in St.
Check this out.
Don't miss our Central Louisiana Independence Day celebrations. Alexandria, Pineville, and other local communities will be lighting up the skies in the name of freedom. Come party with us.
Feeling hungry? Join us for a hearty breakfast at the clubhouse at Beulah Lake Airport in Pineville, Saturday morning, July 5th, from 7 till 9. Get all you want to eat and drink for just a $10 donation.
Hey kids, the Alexandria Museum of Art's Summer Art Camp start Monday, July 14th. Children ages 6 to 12 will experience fun, fanciful, imagination-stretching art activities. Get the details online.
Join us as the Alexandria Mall celebrates all things summer in their Summer Mode event. Come in Saturday, August 2nd from 1 till 3 for family-friendly activities, giveaways, crafts, and a fun summer movie on the big screen.
St. Broadcasting.
Welcome home.
Talk back. To take part in the show, call 442-8255. That's 442-TALK.
Hey, welcome back, everyone, here on our Tuesday Talk Back. Al Quartermont, Stephen Maxwell with you here today, stepping in from the Avoyelles Commission of Tourism. Talk about what's coming up in the month of July in Avoyelles Parish. Wilbur Carmouche, good morning, sir.
Morning.
Always good to have you with us.
Same here.
Oh, hang on. We do this thing now where we always have to turn the mics down, and then we forget to turn them up when we get an interview in. So give me a second here.
Al's going over there. Yeah, all right, we went to Avoyelles last week, so I'm broadcasting. A lot of fun. Me and Wilbert hung out for a while.
Absolutely. It was a great day.
Yeah, it was fun. Ate some Le Petit Affair and went out to the center of Louisiana.
Absolutely. It's a wonderful place to go.
It is. So what do you
La Petite looks really good, by the way.
It's fantastic. I got to take my mom and my wife. They'll love it.
Oh, yeah.
Love it.
I already told my wife about it. She's like, we never go to places like that.
You never take me anywhere, Al.
And Al, you would love that place because it's the former Mr. Raymond Laborde's department store.
Oh, that's so cool.
That they've repurposed into this cafe.
How about that?
Yeah, I mean, you see all the vintage stuff, the furnishings, and so it's really a cool stuff. Cool place to go.
And who runs that? Who owns that?
Roy Gilbo is the one that runs the restaurant, and it's owned by Jacques and Melissa Gudo.
Okay.
So they were there. So it's a cool place. Got a nice vibe.
That sounds like an Avoyelles Parish name. Gudo.
Absolutely.
Gilbo.
Yes.
Gilbo and
Gilbo Gudo. It's when you're in the parish, you either live there or you're honorary, like Stephen was that day. So
Al could never live there. He's a Quartermont. Doesn't sound very French Creole.
Actually.
Oh, Lord.
And I know where they lived.
Yep.
I'm wrong.
So my grandfather's brother, after World War II, he met a gal from Marksville.
What?
He was an Air Force pilot, and he met a nurse. They got married and lived in Marksville and raised think 8 kids.
Yes.
I believe so.
Really?
There are a lot of quarter mounts in Avoyelles Parish still.
And now, was it sort of in that Cocoville area? Is that correct?
I think so, yeah.
I think
his name was Ray.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah. It's in that Cocoville area. I think is where it is.
Yeah. My grandfather used to travel down and visit Avoyelles Parish every once in a while.
Really?
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
And he found something interesting in Avoyelles Parish.
There you go. So the name does.
I'll just be quiet then.
That's it. So watch what you wish for.
Yeah. I think we got to change the pronunciation, like Quartermont.
Cachamont.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah. Wilbur can give us the French pronunciation. Well, actually, our heritage is from the French part of Belgium, so technically it is French.
Yes, we've twin Mansoura with Belgium. So
Yes.
and really that's all in the same vicinity.
Yeah, that's right.
So it all works. We'll make it work.
We'll make it work.
We'll make it that connection. Just like I'm trying to make a connection with the Pope having ancestry in Avoyelles Parish.
Is that true?
I'm trying.
Oh, you're trying to find
I'm trying.
Okay.
I think I've got a good lead on that.
All right.
So there's a lot of little indicators.
Okay.
You know who to talk to first if you do.
Exactly.
Well, that's right.
my little buddy from North Louisiana there, you know?
Yeah.
Things going on in Avoyelles Parish in July, fellas. Wind Down Wednesdays, Bailey's on the Square, which is the next place I've got to take you to, Stephen.
Yeah.
Well,
by the way, folks, Wine Down. That's WINE down Wednesdays.
Absolutely. But WINE can make you WIND down.
That's fair. Yes.
You know, it can chill you out. So that's Bailey's on the Square every Wednesday, 5 p.m. And for a little tidbit, Bailey's on the Square is where the site of Judge Cushman's office was, who was the presiding judge that freed Solomon Northup in 1853.
Wow. So, that is a good tidbit. I love the history of Avoyelles. It's so interesting.
Yeah.
So
that's a lot of good little.
That judge was he a hanging judge, by the way? Is there any indicator on that?
Don't give me those kinds of lines. Not this early in the morning.
I'm thinking of that Clint Eastwood movie. That's why.
Yeah, exactly. So, Wind Down Wednesdays at Bailey's. That brings us to the 12th annual, I think, Arts and Music Festival, which this year, for the second year, has been moved to Paragon Casino Resort. And that's July 4th. Facebook them at the Avoyelles Arts and Music Festival. Lots going on with the festival. It used to be a totally outdoor festival, but now we've brought it over to Paragon because the year before last we almost died. Yeah, I mean it was just so warm to be outside with have that stage. But this year we have, like last year, indoor stage, outdoor stage for someone who really enjoys the heat. There's an opportunity to be outdoor and hear some musicians, and of course inside as well in the Morris Center, car show, bake off, all of the things that associated with the 4th of July will be there.
Didn't y'all used to have a parade on the 4th?
We still do.
Oh, you still do?
We still have the longest running 4th of July parade in the state of Louisiana.
Okay.
The Grand Marshal, too, is pretty impressive. Grand Marshals,
yes.
Yeah.
Exactly. We have Tommy McLean, and we have John Foster, who was the runner-up in American Idol. So we have a legend and we have a rising star.
Wow. Okay.
They'll complement each other very well.
Yeah.
It'd be awesome.
I watched that up. I don't usually watch American Idol, but when I heard he was in the final 2, I'm like, let me check this out.
And then that brings us to making it a full weekend of July 4th celebration. John Foster will be in concert at Paragon on July 5th. So, so make it a 3-night weekend, Thursday, Friday, Saturday for that concert as well.
You get some lunch at Le Petit and then party up for 4th of July.
That's all
what
good.
I'm saying.
It's all good right there, right there in the parish. So get your tickets, ParagonCasinoResort.com. I was talking to Louis last night, and he was just telling me that there's just a handful of tickets left to be purchased. Then Paragon Casino Resort brings us the Commodores, July 19th, 8 p.m. Same place to get your tickets, Paragon Casino Resort. On the 26th.
I believe the Commodores no longer have Lionel Richie in them, though, correct?
No, so it's...
but they're still easy.
A tribute, yes.
Like Sunday morning.
Like Sunday morning. Hey, they're there Saturday night, so it's going to be easy like Sunday morning. Get your breakfast and truck on.
This is why we hire out.
Like a brick.
Exact
house.
Alligator feeding show last Saturday of the month, 4 p.m. Allons Souper à Lourdes Jr. at Our Lady of Lourdes Church.
I'm glad you said that, because if I would have read it, I would have said Allianz Super Junior.
Super Junior.
Hey, how did you say it again?
Allons Souper.
Allons Souper.
Let's go eat supper.
Oh, okay.
That was obviously not a Marksville Quartermont. That's okay.
No.
It's pas Quartermont.
What's funny is my grandfather's brother grew up in Milwaukee, but he had that Avoyelles Parish accent by the time I met him. Yeah. Okay.
So Allons Souper Jr., it's a spin-off of the event that we do in the spring, where you have 20 tasting stations. And then this year is Allons Souper Jr. We're doing with kid chefs, children chefs for the youth.
That's cool.
So that's going to be on the 26th of July, 5 p.m. Tickets are $10. From 5 to 7, you come in and you taste all the stations from what the children and, of course, the parents have prepared.
Yes.
Yeah, so it's going to be a great opportunity. Fun fellowship. Get you a soda, go around and taste the different foods that the youth have. And all the proceeds go for youth programming at the church.
Very nice.
That'd be a cool thing to go to. That'd be awesome.
It always revolves around food with us.
I've noticed that.
So that's why we say in Avoyelles Parish, most of the time you're wider than you're tall. And I fit that very well. Gospel show at Dee's Place in Cottonport, also on July 26th, 6 p.m. You can call Mr. Davis at 717-4526 for information. So if you are interested in all of this and much more, go to our website, travelavoyelles.com. Facebook is at Travel of Oils, or give us a call at 964-2025, because we love to talk.
Yes, you do.
Absolutely.
And eat. Talk and eat.
Talk and eat.
And listen to music.
My favorite pastime is you slip in a nap in between.
There you go.
You wind down.
Yeah.
Is there a French word for nap?
Coucher.
Coucher.
Yeah. You sleep. Coucher.
I'm good at those.
Yeah, me too.
In the middle of a social interaction.
You've seen it. Steven has seen it.
That pillow stays on that couch 24/7.
Yeah.
All right. Again, it's Travel of Oils. You can find them on Facebook, travelavoyelles.com. Wilbur Carmouche, we always love having him here every month. Hope you have a great 4th of July.
Absolutely. Stay cool, everyone.
All right. We'll be back with more.
Appreciate you.
Is sponsored by The Clinics, with 27 providers and 3 locations. Someone can see you today. Stick around. More of Talkback is on the way.
Don't miss the Hot Tub and Swim Spa Blowout Expo this weekend only at the LaBorde Earls Entertainment Center. Browse over 40 hot tubs, cold therapy tubs, swim spas, and saunas from major brands. And up to 50% off this weekend at the LaBorde Earls Entertainment Center. Visit hottubexpo.com or call 1-800-SPA-SALE.
Got a big day ahead of you? Then it's best to fuel up with some of Sinla's best at Bricato's Restaurant. Walk right in and just smell that home-style cooking. Place your order, take a seat, and do breakfast right till 9:30 this morning. Get fresh biscuits, eggs any way you like them, melt-in-your-mouth pancakes, grits, hash browns, sausage, bacon, even wraps and sandwiches. And don't forget their fresh brewed coffee. Bricato's Restaurant, 28 West, right across from the Coliseum. Your breakfast is waiting for you.
Talkback. To take part in the show, call 442-8255. That's 442-TALK.
All right, we're back with just a couple of minutes left in this hour. Again, coming up in our next hour, Dr. Nate Salmons will be here from LSU Alexandria for our monthly visit with them. And then at 8:30, Brooke Buford from Cleco will be here. We'll be talking about ways you can save energy and money during these hot summer months.
Season, hot.
Yes. Today is Swim a Lap Day, and why not? It's a good time to jump into the pool. Although it's weird down here sometimes, you jump into pools and it's like bath water because of the heat and humidity.
It's like a hot tub sometimes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which, that's not refreshing.
It's just not. No, we sometimes the Gulf too, when we lived out there, it would stay pretty warm as well. It wasn't very nice.
But you're used to it, like we were talking about earlier.
Well, not the water.
So apparently, your generation, Gen Z, is freaking out about a possible World War III.
We've been talking about that for a couple of years now.
Yeah. On TikTok. It says, after the U.S. bombed Iran the other day, people were declaring the start of World War III, and immediately I made a bunch of dumb memes about it. They have war-ready fashion shows and tips on how to avoid getting drafted into the army.
There were some funny skits, too, about how people would fare in a World War III.
Yeah.
Just people making fun of it. I mean,
yeah.
Obviously not funny, but we know. We got to make light of situations to cope.
Yep.
I'm not Gen Z, so I don't know why you'll lump me into that, but I'm one of them great millennials.
One of the top baseball stories this morning, New York Mets pitcher, his name is Richard Lovelady, but he tells people he prefers to be called Dickie Lovelady.
Oh, my goodness.
So that's becoming a hot-selling jersey all of a sudden.
I can imagine.
Yeah. They say Lovelady replaces another odd name in the Mets universe following the death last April of their 98-year-old superfan, real name, Seymour Wiener.
So what team was it about that famous play in the World Series, like in the 50s?
Oh, yeah, Merkel.
What team was that?
The play was called Merkel's Boner.
Mm-hmm.
I'll have to look it up.
We took a history of baseball class at Louisiana College back in the day, and
he was on the New York Giants.
I knew it was a New York team.
The Cubs in 1908.
I knew it was a New York team.
Yeah.
He made a blunder. We would call it Merkel's blunder now.
That's right. All right. On that note, we will wait until 8:05 to get into more serious topics. Talking about LSU Alexandria, we'll find out some of the cool new programs that they have in the works. I know Dr. Krell gave an update yesterday at Narbia. What did he say? They're going to hit 8,000 students?
Something like that. Enrollment is way up.
Golly.
Yeah, I know.
Man. So
they know what they're doing.
They do. Congratulations to them. We'll talk more about it coming up at 8:05.
You've been listening to Talkback. The opinions expressed were those of the hosts and callers, and not necessarily those of Cenlaw Broadcasting.
FM 104.9, AM 970, KSYL, and KRRV 100.3 HP3 Alexandria. It's 8 o'clock.
This is CBS News on the Hour, sponsored by Progressive Insurance.
I'm Deborah Rodriguez.
These guys got to calm down. It's ridiculous.
President Trump is scolding both Iran and Israel after apparent strikes from both sides following a ceasefire he brokered took effect overnight. Correspondent Weijia Jiang is at the White House.
He is extremely frustrated. He said that both countries have already violated it, and he even used an expletive. He said, when he was asked whether he thought Israel was committed to peace, Trump said, we have two countries that have been fighting for so long that don't know what the F they are doing. You understand that?
CBS News consultant, retired General Frank McKenzie, says there is room for confusion.
A lot of Iranian senior leadership has been killed. So it's not surprising that maybe Iranian forces in the field somewhere haven't gotten the word that the war has ended or the war is in a truce phase. So I would look to see what happens over the next 12 hours.
The president made a declaration on Truth Social that Israel would not attack Iran. It would turn its planes around. No one would be hurt. And the ceasefire, he says, is in effect. Mr. Trump spoke to reporters as he left for a NATO meeting at The Hague. Secretary General Mark Rutte.
There is total commitment by the U.S. president and the U.S. senior leadership to NATO.
President Trump says he will probably meet with Ukraine's President Zelensky on the sidelines. It's stifling hot in the eastern portion of the country. Correspondent Nancy Chen is on the boardwalk in Ocean City, Maryland.
Temperatures here will hit the mid-90s today. We spoke with Sergeant of Ocean City's Beach Patrol, Janie Falcon, about the sweltering heat.
When the weather is this hot, what kind of precautions do you and your team take?
Hydration. If you're starting to feel thirsty, you've already waited too long.
Without that ocean breeze, Washington, D.C., Philadelphia, and New York City could hit highs of 100 today. Police in Wisconsin have charged a couple with poisoning two women.
Police say the two victims briefly dated Paul Van Dyne of Madison more than a year ago. He and his current partner, Andrea Whitaker, are accused of lacing his former girlfriend's water bottles with thallium and leaving Abrin, a potentially fatal toxin, in their cars. Both victims were hospitalized with severe abdominal pain. One of them, with her voice disguised, says she fears for her and her children's safety.
Because I'm constantly bracing for what Paul and Andrea might do next.
Van Dyne and Whitaker have been charged with attempted murder. Michael Wallace, CBS News.
The head of the Fed isn't giving in to pressure from the president. In prepared remarks he's set to deliver on Capitol Hill this morning, Jerome Powell says the Federal Reserve is not ready to reduce interest rates yet. He says the central bank has a duty to prevent what he calls an ongoing inflation problem. This is CBS News.
Progressive Insurance. Progressive can protect your home, auto, boat, motorcycle, ATV, RV, and more. In short, a lot of things. Bundle today at progressive.com.
Hey, it's Mike Rohn. If I have a choice, I like to do business with companies that actually stand for something. That's why I switched from Verizon to Pure Talk. No offense to Verizon, I'm sure they stand for something. I just don't know what it is. Pure Talk, on the other hand, is a veteran-owned company that supports our military in a big way, and I appreciate that. Yeah, I also appreciate unlimited talk and text and plenty of data for half the cost of the big guys, and I do like being on America's most dependable 5G network for just $20 a month. But what I really appreciate is no contract, no cancellation fees, and Pure Talk's commitment to handle all their customer service in this country. I saw it for myself. I went to Georgia, I got a tour of their headquarters, I met their CEO, and I talked to the same customer service folks that you'll talk to when you dial pound 250 and say keyword micro. Switch today and save 50% off your first month when you dial pound 250 and say keyword micro. Pure Talk, a wireless company that actually stands for something.
Louisiana Radio Network, I'm Jeff Palermo. In the regular session, state lawmakers approved a bill that creates the Excellence Award within the TOPS program. It's for high school students who achieve a 31 or higher on the ACT and have a 3.5 GPA or higher. Students who qualify can receive up to $12,000 to cover tuition at any Louisiana university. Ruston Representative Christopher Turner says TOPS is an investment in the state's best and brightest students. And like any investment, Turner hopes to see a return.
We're trying to figure out a way to enhance TOPS and also make it to where you don't go to school for a year just to have fun and you're not worried about your school and you take a free ride from the state on that.
Students currently receiving TOPS will not be eligible for the new award. LSU fans give their team a hero's welcome after returning home after winning the College World Series. A few hundred braved the scorching heat outside Alec Box Stadium to welcome the team back from Omaha, including this man.
It was really nice. Yeah, good to see him. Derek Curiel signing some autographs right here. It's pretty cool.
LRN.
The cost of air travel is more than just the ticket price. It's also fuel, meals, lodging, parking, and time. Recalculating. The more we fly AEX, the better our chances of bringing back flights to Houston and Charlotte. Support AEX and help our community grow. Find your true cost at local.flyaex.org.
Well, good morning. We'll start on our Tuesday with, well, sunny skies for the most part, then increasing cloudiness throughout the day. By this afternoon, about a 50% chance of some scattered showers to thunderstorms. Afternoon high temps near 92 degrees. Could see a stray shower or thunderstorm up until about midnight tonight, 72 the overnight low. And then just sunny and hot for us on Wednesday with the highs near 94. From the Cenla Broadcasting Weather Center, I'm Dave Gratian. Currently 76 degrees in Cenla.
Talkback is sponsored by The Clinics. With 27 providers and 3 locations, someone can see you today.
It's Talkback, Central Louisiana's longest-running talk show. Whether it's the guests or the callers, Talkback is where Central Louisiana begins its conversation.
And welcome back, everyone, for hour number 2 of Talkback here on your Tuesday morning. I'm Al Quartermont, along with Stephen Maxwell, and it is our monthly segment with LSU Alexandria. And stepping behind the mic today, Dr. Nate Sammons. He's the Assistant Vice Chancellor of Engaged Teaching and Learning, and also the Dean of the College of Science, Technology, and Mathematics. That's a lot to fit on a business card, isn't it?
Indeed, but I tell everyone I have the 2 best roles on campus.
That's awesome.
And it's a real pleasure. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And I'm excited to talk with you. We're going to talk about some of the new programs that you have or some of the programs that you're tweaking a little bit, but AI is all the rage these days, artificial intelligence. The education world, I think, has been trying to figure out how do we use this? How do we incorporate this? And it seems like LSUA is already doing that.
Absolutely. You know, as you've said, it's already shaping, AI is already shaping the next generation of jobs, the next generation of educators. And it's a great pleasure at LSUA that we're on top of that. We've been working towards that for probably since the LLM, open access, OpenAI, ChatGPT came on the scene around 2.5 years ago.
How do you at LSUA, I know the big thing is a lot of professors are trepidatious about it because they feel like the students are going to be using it to do things like write essays and not really use their own critical thinking and writing skills. How do you find that balance with the programs that you have?
Certainly, and that's a fantastic question, and it's very relevant. And we've, not just at LSUA, but educators and universities and public schools all across Louisiana, you know, we've been having this conversation, and we absolutely want our students to have those new AI skills. We want them to be able to apply all the benefits and the power that AI offers to their own disciplines, while at the same time preserving that sacred educational role. You know, they need to come with their degree with a certain level of mastery over the content. And if they're overutilizing AI, there's going to be specific gaps that are left in their education. So we have programs in place. So, for example, our assessments, we're modifying them slightly. What would ordinarily be an English class that the students would go home and write an essay or write a paper, they're now transitioning to that actual writing assignment in class. So they don't have the option of utilizing AI. Another way around this, especially for our online courses, when they write the paper, they have a proctor. Just like we have proctored exams, student will take an exam with a proctor, monitoring them, making sure they're not accessing the internet or using resources they're not allowed to use. So when they're writing those papers, there is a proctor, there's a monitor to make sure that they're not overly relying on AI. But we do specifically engineer some of our assignments to require students to incorporate the AI tools so they're not left out, that those skills are not left out of their education.
What are some of the areas you think in the future will really demand those skills?
Gosh, the easier question would be what won't be requiring those. So healthcare in particular, you know, AI has already its ability to recognize and diagnose pathogens or other diseases is equal to what our best physicians can do. Now, I'm not saying that to say that physician jobs are going to go away. Not even close, right? There's something that human interaction will provide for a patient, for example, that AI could never provide. So, however, that will greatly, using AI to help diagnostics and treat patients will absolutely improve healthcare in general, and not just in healthcare, right? In engineering, AI can do all of those complex calculations in just a blink of an eye, where it would take considerable amount of work and with a calculator perhaps otherwise. In biology, we're seeing it everywhere. We can do forest surveys using AI that we could never do before. We can fly a drone over a forest or over an agricultural field, and that drone footage can be examined by AI and tell the specific regions where there maybe needs to be more nitrogen laid out, or maybe there needs to be some type of pest control over those areas. So yeah, every field, or mostly every field, is going to be touched by and improved by what we can do with machine learning and AI.
I saw some stories a couple of weeks ago where a doctor in a different state uses AI to find alternative uses for medicine. So something that they weren't able to figure out, or it took a long time, AI is figuring out pretty quickly, like that. These two medicines could be put together to fix this issue we never thought could help. It's
Absolutely.
amazing. Yeah.
So in that vein, you have two new programs that you're launching this fall, excuse me, that are artificial intelligence based. So let's talk about those two programs.
The first is an actual major. It's housed in our computer science program. And this is for students that want to graduate and work on AI platforms. They want to be the engineers that either improve existing AI or develop brand new AI models. So they'll get our computer science degree with a concentration in artificial intelligence. They'll take courses like machine learning and deep learning, data mining, predictive modeling, all these things that an AI engineer would have to have in their tool belt in order to be an effective AI engineer. They'll also take coursework in AI ethics and computer ethics so that they can build those models so that we can use them responsibly and ethically. Our computer science faculty actually have this to help us understand, and I'm not a computer science faculty, by the way, I'm a plant biologist in nature. But they have this great way of helping us understand these two programs. So the computer science major with a concentration in AI, that helps our graduates learn to build the car being AI. And the second program that we're going to be offering is actually a minor in artificial intelligence that any student on campus can enroll in and get that experience for applying AI to their existing or upcoming job. So our computer science faculty says that's going to train students to drive the car, essentially. And so those students that are taking the minor in artificial intelligence, they'll take classes like Intro to AI. They'll take a survey class where they examine all kinds of different AIs and what those particular AI models are best at doing. They'll look at how AI can best be applied to their own careers and their own disciplines. They'll also have access to the ethics in AI course. So the jobs that those students expect to have upon graduation are the same jobs that they were always going to have. So if they are majoring in nursing, they're going to get a nursing job. They'll just be more effective at what they do because they know how to incorporate AI into those disciplines.
Yeah, I noticed that one of your majors it's open to all majors, but like criminal justice is an area.
Absolutely.
We're at the North Rapids Business and Industry Alliance meeting yesterday, and it was all focused on the city of Pineville. And so they had the police chief speak, or at least the assistant police chief, I believe it was.
Yeah.
And he was talking about some of the new cameras that they're getting, and a lot of those utilize AI to recognize things. So it's here.
AI engineers call that computer vision. So they can take a camera feed, or they can take an image, and they can parse that into data that the AI can understand and then recognize those patterns. And you're speaking of criminal justice, right? One of the best things that AI can do is take large data sets. One of the reasons our AI engineers have to take, data mining courses and understand how to use large data sets. But an AI can take those large data sets and piece together patterns and trends that it's much more challenging for us to, or that we would never have even thought to approach. So that's for computer science, for criminal justice in particular, they can identify at-risk locations. They can identify at-risk intersections, perhaps, for recognizing when we might have a greater incidence of car accidents in those areas.
Yeah, I use it in my reporting sometimes to help break down data. I put in a large government document and say, hey, what is this exactly saying? Can you break it down into bullet points?
Doesn't that feel so good whenever you get that output and you thought, how did that come up with that? It's so true. I'm so surprised I didn't recognize that on my own.
Or I'll put in a long, hour-long interview and it breaks it up and tells me parts that I might want to look at cutting. And it saves me hours and hours of work.
Oh, yes.
So,
and that's
amazing.
That's truly one of the biggest promises of AI is workload efficiency, speeding up processes that you already do. And I know we hear a lot about, we're going to all lose our jobs to AI. That's 100% not true.
Yeah.
I can't think of, in fact, any job that is going to be completely taken over by an AI. Certainly not the short term, certainly not even the midterm. And I'm not convinced even in the long term. We spoke earlier about having that human connection is a very real thing. I don't want to receive treatment from a nurse or from a doctor that's a robot, right? There's something very comforting about having a nurse speaking to you. Same thing with education, right? We're not likely to see AI replace educators. First, AI has a lot of difficulty with things like emotional intelligence, right? You can tell it, I'm very upset right now, but humans can see it on your face, right? We can read that in your posturing. So it's much easier for us to recognize when a student might be having trouble. It's also much more, I think, rewarding for students to have the that reinforcement, that positive reinforcement that a good educator gives, right? They look up to their teachers, their educators. They often those educators are models for who they want to be themselves. And when they get that real human positive feedback, that's above and beyond what any type of AI, would be capable of.
I know that one thing LSUA has done really well through the years, continuing education. How soon, what might we see LSUA doing continuing ed in something like AI?
Very soon. In fact, it's something we are working toward right now. So we've talked about the programs that are available to our students. All the students on campus can take that minor in AI. If a computer science person wants to really specialize in that, they have that as well. But we have a lot of industry leaders. We have a lot of business owners that could very greatly benefit from having some specialized training in that as well. So our continuing ed department is working toward getting some certificate programs, some other forms of credentialing for community members that want to come in. They'll be taking the exact same classes that our students take. They'll be taking them alongside our students. So, and I think that there's so many mutual benefits of that. We would love to have mature business leaders, community leaders in class with our students, modeling to our students what that professional work life is going to be like. We'd also love to highlight some of our students. Those leaders will be in the classes with the future applicants of tomorrow. So if they have an opportunity to meet those students and recognize them, hey, you might work well with me. Let's have those conversations. So mutually beneficial. And of course, as faculty, we would love to have you in our classes as well.
Are those likely to be online or in person classes?
In person.
Okay.
Yeah, indeed. Yeah, we're looking at evening and nighttime hours. We're already reintroducing back in the 90s, early 2000s. We had a number of evening courses. As our demographic shifted, though, most students wanted them during the day. We had a lot more commuters back in those years. We have more students now that stay on campus. So the main impact that we have in our classes are during the day, but now we're shifting that back again, offering both in day classes as well as evening courses. And if we open, if we get a lot of interest from the community in that style of learning, we'll just continue adding more evening classes.
Great. We need to take a break. We'll come back with more of the conversation that we're having with Dr. Nate Sammons here on Talkback.
Talkback is sponsored by The Clinics with 27 providers and 3 locations. Someone can see you today. Stick around. More of Talkback is on the way. When you think of real estate, one name is at the top of the list: Ritchie Real Estate. Matt and his team are experts when buying and selling homes, businesses, land, leases, or even industrial buildings. And at Ritchie Real Estate, they can even handle all of your property management needs. They make the entire process easy and as stress-free as possible. They are your full-service choice for anything in real estate. Trust the professionals and find them online at richierealestate.com.
Do you have 3 ex-wives and your current trophy wife wants a life insurance policy 3 times the size of the policies you had to purchase for your previous mistakes? If so, you need to call Big Lou at Term Provider, 800-529-2856. Big Lou is intimately familiar with your problems, and if you're 50 to 60 years old and in reasonably good health, a $1 million policy should only cost about $100 to $200 per month. Big Lou may have a solution for your previous policies as well. You may even save enough money to lighten the load on your new $1 million policy. Remember, call Big Lou. He's like you, except he's only on number 2. Call Term Provider at 800-529-2856. That's 800-529-2856 for $1 million in term life insurance that you can live with. Call Big Lou at 800-529-2856. 800-529-2856.
Fentanyl is being used to make fake prescription pills. Assume any prescription pills you see online are fake, including Oxy, Adderall, and Xanax. To help prevent opioid overdose, naloxone is available over the counter through pharmacies, and many community service organizations have naloxone and fentanyl testing strips for free. Be prepared, carry naloxone, and know the signs of an overdose. If you or a loved one needs help or resources, go to opioidhelpla.org. Brought to you by the Louisiana Department of Health.
If you'd like to take part in the show today, call the BOM Bank Talk line at 442-8255. That's 442-TALK. And remember, if you're looking to purchase or refinance your home, call Christina Bagwell at the BOM Bank Mortgage Department at 448-2430.
Talk back. To take part in the show, call 442-8255. That's 442-TALK.
And we're back. Dr. Nate Sammons is our guest, Assistant Vice Chancellor of Engaged Teaching and Learning at LSU Alexandria, also the Dean of the College of Science, Technology, and Mathematics. We've been talking a lot about AI and what LSUA is planning to do with that in the very near future. And let's go to a phone call this morning on the BOM Bank Talk line. Good morning. You're on Talkback.
Yeah, there's two issues. First, a couple of years ago, there was a big brouhaha over in Jonesville because they had history teachers teaching chemistry because they couldn't get certified chemistry teachers or some such like that. So when we have rural schools in poor parishes that can't attract certified teachers, how does AI help?
Yeah, that's a great question. We have that not just in education, but we have that issue with healthcare as well. And I will tell you that LSUA in our secondary ed program, we're very committed to getting especially STEM educators back into those rural communities. And one way we're trying to do that is by sending our recruiters directly to those communities. Those students that come from rural communities are much more likely to return and teach in those communities than someone from, let's say, we recruited from Illinois or Chicago or even Alexandria. But your question is, how can AI help with that? So let's assume that school district cannot find a suitable chemistry faculty. And so the history instructors, as the exact example you gave, are having to teach chemistry. AI would be phenomenally good with this. So the history teacher can literally build a specialized AI, we call them custom AIs, and train them on the textbook that the chemistry students would be learning from, input all of the information about when the exams are, what's covered on those exams, and then it functions as an AI tutor for those students. We do that already in some of our classes at LSUA. Of course, our teachers have credentials in those disciplines, but they create those AI tutors based on the lecture notes that the professor has and the textbook. So when students are maybe a little too shy to go to office hours, or they're cramming, unfortunately, for an exam, which is in the next couple days, and it's in the middle of the night and they don't have access to their professor or to the tutoring center, they can bring up that AI tutor and say, hey, give me a practice exam. And so that AI will literally, in the course of 10 seconds, create a 50-question practice exam based specifically on the content that the professor, or in your case, that history teacher, would be requiring of the students. And that AI can walk them through any mistakes they made while taking that exam and explain why their answer was incorrect and explain what the correct answer would be. Now, if you've been listening, I said that education is likely not one of those disciplines that are going to completely be handed over to AI. So the hope is that those school districts will ultimately find a credentialed chemistry graduate and hand those classes back over. But AI still will be a phenomenal tool for those chemists to use to really supplement the learning of those students.
Okay, the other question is, can I now use AI to tell me which one of the billboard lawyers to hire if I have an accident?
Well, AI would just be using the internet. They would crawl over the internet, look at the ratings of all the different lawyers and all the different billboard specialists, and pretty much tell you the same thing that you could find by doing your own Google search, but it would be a lot faster because it is very fast at crawling and looking at profiles and looking at Yelp ratings and Yahoo ratings. It'll also give you direct links to those offices. It'll give you the contact information. Anything that's posted online about those people, the AI can find and identify for you and give you that feedback.
All right. Thank you.
Great questions.
Thank you for the call this morning. We appreciate it. I guess, the bottom line is that LSUA seems like you want to really be the regional leader, maybe even the state leader in all of this.
Absolutely. And I will say we've been talking about these 2 new programs, and they are the first of its kind in the state. We expect they won't be the last of its kind, but we certainly do have a jump on this. And we have a lot of people at LSUA to thank for that. Our administration, which is very supportive of new programming, our faculty senate, and the committees that help us build new curriculums and make sure that they're at the standards of LSUA. They all worked very diligently to get this up and going by the fall. So big thanks to them. And of course, our computer science faculty, who we asked them, hey, you interested in doing an AI thing? And they jumped on it immediately. And one of the reasons for that is that many of our computer science faculty are actually AI people. That's their background. We, as biologists, we all have different backgrounds. I'm a plant biologist. We have insect biologists. We have reproductive biologists. Same thing with computer science. They all have their specialties. And it just so happens that a majority of our computer science people have an AI background. So when we mention, hey, AI concentration, they're like, absolutely, what took you so long? And they'll be doing research with our students. Our students have access to doing groundbreaking research with our computer science faculty on AI. One of our faculty actually works for Apple in the developing of their autonomous AI-driven cars. So our students will be able to, or your children, if you're listening to this and you're considering where can I send my kids for an AI job, send them to LSUA. They can do research on autonomous driving vehicles for Apple. And, all of our faculty do research, and so great opportunities there.
That's pretty awesome stuff. What's your favorite plant, by the way?
One of the mints, Monarda punctata, which we have here in Louisiana. I looked it up before I took the job here. It's actually blooming right now. It's called horse mint, but it's great plant. I have a lot of favorites, to be honest.
Horse mint?
Horse mint, yeah. Yep. It's one of the main wildlife foods in Louisiana. It's a big pollinator. You hear a lot about beehive collapse. Monarda is one of those species that are preventing that from happening.
Wow. It's like the king of plants.
Exactly.
A comment we got from one of our listeners. We use AI in the HVAC industry, computer programs to run the matrix of all the data we give it, and it helps guide us to the problem, reinforcing what we know or bringing to our attention things we may have missed. So
I love that. And that actually speaks to that level of innovation of applying AI to do your jobs better. That's one of the other big promises of AI. In fact, right now, the potential for innovation has never been higher, especially coupled with other technologies like 3D printing, right? Anyone can have an idea and have AI help them flush that out. And they can build prototypes using 3D printing, for example. And that's really one of our main goals of the new programming at LSUA, is to grow local AI talent. It's going to help in innovation in this area. It's going to help with job growth in this area. And we're ready. We have the expertise and we have the population in our community that can take us to the next step.
We're just about out of time, but we do have one more call. Let's try to get that in. Good morning. You're on Talkback.
Good morning. If LSUA would start an AI program before those kids would graduate, we won't need the university anymore.
I like that line of thinking, but I respectfully think that many jobs, not just education, we're not going to see them completely dissolve. And not because AI won't do a fantastic job with those things, but because we're just not ready to let go of that human connection. We're not ready to let go of that. And it's maybe at this point, we can't really describe what that human connection is, but we know it exists. We know it's there, and we're not ready to leave that behind.
Well, maybe AI will help us figure that out.
Perhaps.
No AI news anchors or news reporters.
Right. So it won't be me and Steven in the future. It'll just be a couple of AI voices.
AI-L.
So these are voices, but you won't even know the difference. It's not that great with humor, though. So your jokes are way better than what AI can.
I asked ChatGPT to roast me one time. It was pretty funny. It was very
Really?
It actually hurt my feelings.
Really?
I swear. Do it. I'll show you.
Okay.
Yeah.
That sounds good.
I will have to try that immediately.
You should, man. It's hilarious.
All right. Dr. Nate Salmons, Assistant Vice Chancellor of Engaged Teaching and Learning at LSU LSU Alexandria, Dean of the College of Science, Technology, and Mathematics. If people want more information, they can just go to the website too.
Absolutely. My contact information is there. My email is nsammons, that's NSAMMONS, @lsua.edu. I'm happy to answer any questions any of your listeners might have.
Well, I think you're going to be our AI expert moving forward.
I think we could totally do that. Yeah.
We have much smarter people in the computer science department than I am. I'll give you some names.
Okay, sounds good.
Sounds good. Dr. Sammons, thanks for being here today. We enjoyed talking with you.
Absolutely. Real pleasure.
All right, Brooke Buford coming up next.
Talkback is sponsored by The Clinics with 27 providers and 3 locations. Someone can see you today. Stick around. More of Talkback is on the way.
This is a Bloomberg Money Minute. Stock futures still point to a higher open after Fed Chair Jay Powell reiterated his wait-and-see stance on interest rate cuts. Traders are growing confident that a fragile truce between Israel and Iran would hold. Meanwhile, crude is tumbling today, down more than 3%, right around $66 a barrel. AT&T has agreed to a settlement stemming from 2 separate data breaches. The company agreed to pay $177 million to settle proposed class actions, alleging it failed to protect the personal information of more than 73 million current and former customers. The 2 data breaches occurred in 2019 and 2024. And ESPN says the Oklahoma City Thunder's Game 7 win over the Indiana Pacers delivered the most watched NBA Finals game in 6 years. Pointing to Nielsen data, the Disney-owned network says the Thunder's victory averaged at 16.4 million viewers. Once again, futures are rising. Gina Cervetti, Bloomberg Radio.
Dentures. You can't live with them, and you definitely can't live without them. But what if we told you there's a better way? Today's Dental in Pineville is here to revolutionize your smile. Say goodbye to old-fashioned adhesives and endless appointments. They've made getting implants incredibly simple, low anxiety, and affordable for everyone. Picture this. In-office IV sedation administered by a highly skilled, certified nurse anesthetist, making the procedure low anxiety and stress-free. And the best part? Their multiple finance options make implants truly affordable. Don't wait. If you're ready to replace those old-timey dentures with permanent implants, call Today's Dental on Highway 28 East in Pineville at 448-4540. It's a general dental facility owned by Dr. Jonas Gauthier. That's 448-4540. Your perfect smile is just a call away. Today's Dental, because you deserve the best.
William Shakespeare's Macbeth, Act 5, Scene 1.
Out, dang spot! Out, I say!
It seems Lady Macbeth is having difficulties removing a troublesome spot.
5, my lord, 5!
Perhaps she should take that spot to Craig's Cleaners. At Craig's, tough stains are no problem. Finicky, hard-to-clean fabrics are no problem, too. Professional dry cleaning, dependable service.
Craig's Cleaners, 1746 Elliott Street, 1305 Metro Drive, or Highway 28 East at the Pineville Expressway.
How did I let my gambling get this bad? The credit cards are maxed out, rent is overdue. I can't tell my family. What if I lose everything? I mean, there has to be a better way. You're not alone. If you or someone you know are struggling with problem gambling, free and confidential help is a call or a click away. Call 877-770-STOP or visit helpforgambling.org. Take the first step toward a better tomorrow. You don't have to do it alone. A message from the Louisiana Department of Health, Office of Behavioral Health.
Well, good morning. We'll start on our Tuesday with, sunny skies for the most part, then increasing cloudiness throughout the day. By this afternoon, about a 50% chance of some scattered showers and thunderstorms. Afternoon high temps near 92 degrees. Could see a stray shower or thunderstorm up until about midnight tonight, 72 the overnight low. And then just sunny and hot for us on Wednesday with the highs near 94. From the Cenla Broadcasting Weather Center, I'm Dave Gratian. Currently 80 degrees in Cenla. Now back to Talkback, 970 AM, 104.9 FM, KSYL.
All right, we are back on Talkback here on your Tuesday morning. Al Quarterman, Stephen Maxwell. I feel like it's second look.
Oh, no.
Brooke Buford is here from Cleco, our former colleague.
Thanks for having me.
It feels kind of weird, doesn't it?
It feels very weird. It's
A weird reunion.
But a good one.
But a good reunion. Yeah, I haven't seen you in a while.
I know.
Haven't seen Steven in a minute or two. So
yeah,
back in the little merry band here.
And Brooke
like 5-6 years.
Brooke is at Cleco now.
I am. They've been. It's been a very good transition, and I love it over there. I can't complain. But it's definitely a pivot from my old life.
Communication strategist is the title.
It is. I do a little bit of everything, and I'm definitely on the media interview circuit. I think they took advantage of that very well.
They're thinking she may be good at this.
Yeah, kind of got a knack for it.
Yeah.
Haven't done a lot of radio though, so I'm excited to do radio, but I've definitely been doing some television. So.
Gotcha. Well, we're glad to have you here this morning, and we're going to be talking about Cleco's What Matters program.
See what we did there?
I see what you did there. Was that the strategy you came up with?
Oh, no, that's been around.
Okay.
I can't take credit.
I got you. But obviously, we're at that peak time of the year as far as heat and humidity these next few months. This is the time of year when people start to see those bills go up a little bit, or maybe a lot in some cases. So what can you tell people as far as things they can do to try to keep their homes more energy efficient and keep those bills down?
Yeah, so What Matters basically is our summer program. So every summer we launch this again to remind people about things that they can do to take control of their usage. So we know the temperatures are high. We know that, generally people want to use their air conditioning for that. Sometimes you want to blast it, but it's really a reminder of things you can do at home to lower your bill, both with your house and just some programs that we offer to make it a little easier to save money on your bill. So
gotcha.
It's kind of 3 key points. First one is what we call Manage It. So we have a budget billing program, and what that is, it allows the residential customers to pay approximately the same amount each month, basically maximizing your budgeting power. So we're looking at averaging what you generally pay for your bill, looking at your average usage, and it kind of averages out what you will pay each month. So to sign up for that, you can go to a customer service office. We have more than a dozen around the state, or you can call our 1-800 number. That's 1-800-622-6537 if you're interested in getting signed up for that. Another thing we really push is taking a look around your own house. So using ceiling fans, if you've got a ceiling fan, instead of constantly blasting your air conditioning, looking for ways to basically take an audit of your own home. If you've got appliances that are running that you're not necessarily using, unplug them. It's a really simple step that you'll see makes a difference on your bill. Making small changes like LED lights or maybe a smart thermostat. We have a website where you can actually buy them in-house if you're a Cleco customer. It's clecomarketplace.com, really reduced rates if you're in the market for something like that, a lot of rebates. And then also what we really tell customers is if you are on our My Account platform, which is how you would pay your bill, it's how you manage your account, you can sign up for usage alerts. So we'll send you a text message or an email as you're approaching a usage amount that you maybe don't want to reach or maybe is what you consider your max. You can take a look at that and know when you're approaching that.
Awesome. Tell you what, take those headphones off.
I know, am I messing it up?
It's giving a little feedback. No,
I know, I was mixed minusing a bit in there too.
There you go.
Here we go. Sorry about that.
But no, I like that Cleco is doing what it can to help people, because especially like the part with the alerts, because sometimes it's when you open that bill and you're like, ooh, I didn't know I was using that much. That's not a good surprise.
No, and that's true. I mean, sometimes things, we don't want people to get it out of control, right? Mm-hmm. We don't want that to happen. We don't want it to spiral out where you can't handle a bill. We also, through our energy efficiency program, PowerWise, you and I were talking about this before we went on a little bit, or actually I was talking out in the hall about it. We have a program where you can even sign up for a weatherization. So if you're a Cleco customer, it's free of charge. You sign up, and what we do is we send a contractor out to your home. They will walk through your home with you and let you know, look, your windows need to be sealed properly. This is happening. You've got hot air coming in, or you might have problems with your attic. A lot of people don't realize, especially with older homes, that those little things will really add up if you're not aware that they're happening. So we'll go through it with you. If you don't want somebody to come out, though, we also have an online version where it's basically a checklist. You can go through your home yourself and see things that you need to address.
Yeah, for sure. Some other things you guys are doing is that we talked about it at my previous employment, charity stuff, and great programs.
We
Yeah.
do. Yeah, we do. It's such a big thing for us to be out in the community. I know when I joined Cleco, one of the reasons I wanted to do that is because I feel like you can't drive past an event here without seeing Cleco's name on a banner. We're like super passionate about it. And not only that, like for our employees in-house, we offer an in-house program where we take a day, a quarter. We'll go out as a group, get as many volunteers as possible, help a nonprofit either in Central Louisiana or Acadiana or the North Shore. And if people, need help, by all means, please contact us at corpcom@cleco.com. We'd love to come out and help.
We're in hurricane season now.
We are.
This is always a heightened time of the year. Anything you guys are doing different or special for this hurricane season?
Not really different. So obviously we prepare for hurricane season year round. It's something that we can't afford to ignore. But I think we actually came on your show earlier, maybe a couple of months ago. Our tree trimming program has been a big initiative this year, and we started it last year. We're basically doubling our vegetation management. So we're looking in our right-of-ways. Trees are the number one cause of unplanned power outages. Obviously, you can't help when a giant tree actually falls.
Right.
But we're looking at limbs, that have gotten overgrown. Sometimes people's own trees that they've planted that are in Cleco's right-of-way, it's hard to keep up with. We're looking to trim those back so that when a storm does come through, it makes less of an impact. And if you've got a problem tree in Cleco's right-of-way and maybe we haven't made it out there yet, you can always give us a call at our 1-800 number, the 1-800-622-6537. Let us know about it, and we'd be happy to come out and take a look.
I can tell you've been doing work in our area where I live up in Grand Parish, because about a month ago we had a tornado come right on our road, and miraculously we didn't lose power.
It's a really cool process, too. So I got to go out all across the state. They move so quick. It's fascinating. And then even in areas that aren't in neighborhoods, like way back in the woods, they have this thing, it's called the giraffe. And it looks like something out of Mad Max. It's wild to see. And it just cuts them back so quickly. So obviously we keep in mind trees are important. We have licensed arborists on staff. But it really tackles the problem.
Awesome.
And not only that, hurricane season too, always a reminder to get a storm kit. We talk about that. How many years have we talked about that?
That's true.
Lord have mercy. One thing we can't wait to do is if there is some sort of storm, to bug Brooke.
No.
24/7.
No,
Text,
my number.
what's going on here? What's happening here?
When are we getting the power back?
Oh, no, I know. I've become that person.
Well, it was great having you here today, and feel free anytime. You guys got something going on.
Always.
Just zip in. Radio's fun. We're enjoying it.
I don't mind it. I think I'll come back again.
You're invited anytime.
Appreciate it.
Thanks so much. From Cleco, we're going to take a break.
Talkback is sponsored by The Clinics with 27 providers and 3 locations. Someone can see you today. Stick around. More of Talkback is on the way.
Don't miss the Hot Tub and Swim Spa Blowout Expo this weekend at the LeBour Earls Entertainment Center. Browse over 40 hot tubs and swim spas at up to 50% off. Financing is available and show admission is free. That's this weekend at the LeBour Earls Entertainment Center. Visit hottubexpo.com.
Attention all real estate agents, property owners, and lenders. When you or a client needs a real estate attorney, call the professionals at Thompson Law Firm. Whether the legal matter is basic or complex, the Thompson Law Firm can accurately guide you or your client to a successful outcome. That's why numerous industry professionals have trusted the Thompson Law Firm for years. They also handle estate planning, successions, and business law. Call them at 473-0052. I am a paid non-client attorney spokesperson.
From America's #1 travel radio show, I'm Robert Carey.
And I'm Mary Carey with today's RM World Travel Minute.
A big part of summer is road tripping. Packing your vehicle and hitting the highway, it's as American as apple pie. Most of us know the destination we're headed when we road trip, but do you ever plan out what restaurant you'll be stopping at along the way?
We've gathered popular road trip restaurants, and we'd love to hear from you about which are your favorites or your go-to locations.
I think we'd all say McDonald's is high for most people. I know Mary consistently says they have the best quick breakfast options out there, for sure, right?
I do, yes, but I also know Chick-fil-A has a super loyal following, as does In-N-Out Burger, Whataburger, Checkers, and Culver's as well.
Yeah, they're good ones. Cracker Barrel and Waffle House, they're big with travelers. I'd say Krispy Kreme, Starbucks, and Dunkin' each earn a good share of travel dollars as well. And how about places like IHOP, Panera, or Denny's?
You know, Robert, I remember hitting White Castle and places like KFC, Popeyes, Wendy's, Burger King. They all have to be on that list too, right?
And we haven't even mentioned the national pizza chains, Dairy Queen, or sandwich shops, and more. Share your favorites with us, folks, at rmworldtravel.com/contact.
It's Talkback 970 AM, 104.9 FM, KSYO.
All right, we're back. Alan Stephen with you here on your Tuesday morning. Normally I'm not here on Tuesdays. Nathan's usually here, but I've got a oral surgery scheduled for Thursday. So Nathan will be in for me on Thursday.
What happened? Don't tell us. I'm kidding.
It's cracked tooth.
That happens.
Kind of thing.
Been there, done that.
Getting old teeth, along with everything else that's old.
You're hanging on by a thread.
Yeah, well, hopefully a little better than that. So I was reading today in some of our show prep this question: how much do you think you need to live a cozy life?
To live it in where?
Just like they kind of in general.
Cozy life. That's such like a random.
I know.
Like you can pay the bills, you can keep the lights on, you can still go on vacation.
Yeah.
I would say household for a family of 4, $190.
Not that high, $150,000 a year. They say, though, it's a big deal considering almost 80% of the country says they are not totally financially secure, and only 1 in 3 U.S. adults say the American dream isn't doable for them. The annual average salary for Americans this year right now is $67,000 a year.
Yeah, it's tough. Inflation is still high and everything's more expensive, and you gotta.
Yeah, and
wages aren't keeping up.
America in the Morning this morning, they were talking about how home ownership is getting really almost beyond reach, especially for people kind of your generation and younger. And then the double-edged sword of that is that rent is getting so much higher. So you have a hard time saving up when you're just trying to make ends meet, paying your rent, to have that dream of owning a home one day.
We're pretty much out of the home thing for a couple of years. And that's just not all, like that's some things we want to do personally, but it's also just the way the market is right now.
Right.
And we can get a nicer place, I feel like, for the most part, with the price we want to rent at compared to what we would get a mortgage at. You know, and so that's just kind of where we're at right now.
They did say that they're starting to build some smaller homes, though, in kind of response to that market, realizing that if people can't afford the 4-bedroom, 2-bathroom house that costs, I don't know, $350,000, $400,000, maybe you could afford a 1-bedroom or 2-bedroom, 1-bath house that costs, I don't know, $200,000.
Yeah. 1 bed, 2 bath for $200,000.
I don't know.
Yeah, well, I know what you mean.
I haven't been in the market in a while.
Yeah, obviously. But yeah, I mean, so I have a friend in Shreveport. You might know him. They bought their house a couple of years ago when the market was really nice for a buyer, and they have like a 3% interest rate. They bought it for like $170, and their mortgage is like not even $1,000.
Yeah.
If I was to buy that home now, I'd be close to $1,600, $1,700 possibly. You know.
Yeah, I remember when the interest rates first started going up pretty dramatically around 22. That we were talking about it on the show, and got a text from Mr. Matthews, and he was showing me the difference between what the current rate had been versus it going up to like 7% or whatever, and just how much more you were going to pay in a given year.
Yeah.
It was, I have to see if I could find that text.
Oh, it's tough. It's a lot.
Yeah, and I was like, wow, that is quite sobering for people. It's funny, though, because I remember when I was a kid and everything, even teenager, even young adult, Dustin Matthews had sent that to me. Let me see if I can find it. How the interest rate was always like 10, 12, 14%.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah.
And then when it really dropped, say, oh gosh, early 90s, that they were just a difference. And so a lot of people refinanced at that point because all of a sudden they could afford a lot more.
But that's the thing too, whenever those, and I could be a little bit wrong about that, we could have an expert come on. But when those rates were 10, 12 higher, the home prices weren't astronomical,
Right.
and they were on pace with people's wages.
Yeah, that's true.
And so, like, you always hear people like, well, you need to quit going to Starbucks. You need to quit doing this. You need to quit doing that. Like, luxuries aren't going up exponentially like necessities are.
Right.
It's the necessities that are getting us homes, cars, bills. It's tough.
Yeah, I found the text. So he had sent this to me back on November 29th, 2022. So a $200,000 loan, a 30-year loan at 3%, your monthly principal and interest was $843.
No.
Just going up to 7%.
16, 17.
For a payment?
Yeah.
$1,330. So an increase of $485 a month just in interest.
That's 7%?
That was, from 3% to 7%.
Yeah. That's not even counting your insurance.
Property taxes.
So you're going to add another $200-$300
right,
depending on where you live.
Yeah.
It's tough. So for a $200,000 house, which is probably going to be below 1,500 square feet, hopefully a 3-bed, 2-bath, be a small one, then you're looking at $1,700 if you don't put a huge down payment down.
Yeah.
With everything included.
So at that point, renting just makes more sense.
For the most, and I know people say, well, you're putting your money into something. Sometimes if financially is just, in my opinion, who is not good financially, so maybe you should not take this to heart, is to just wait it out and make sure you have your own personal finances in line.
Yeah.
If you don't have a lot of debt, if you don't have a lot of other things to pay for, maybe it makes sense, obviously. You'd rather put money in your own pocket or something you're investing in than to landlord McGee down the road, but I don't know. Don't listen to me. Listen to Dave Ramsey or something.
Well, we need to listen to our commercial break. We've got some calls coming in. We'll take those right after this.
Talkback is sponsored by The Clinics with 27 providers and 3 locations. Someone can see you today. Stick around. More of Talkback is on the way.
The clinics welcome Dr. Noah Miller, family medicine physician, to our team. Dr. Miller from Vadrine, Louisiana, is now accepting new patients. Call today to schedule your appointment. The clinics offers a wide range of services, including primary care, family and chronic care, urgent and acute care with on-site lab and x-ray. Same-day appointments are available, and we accept most insurance and Medicare. Experience exceptional care at the clinics, 1587 North Bolton. Call 445-9823 or look us up online at theclinics.us.
Success is about momentum. For over 20 years, Kinetics has been moving businesses forward with cutting-edge IT, cybersecurity, and marketing solutions while keeping them secure, innovative, and competitive. We power progress with next-gen business technology and marketing solutions designed to keep your business ahead of the competition. Need seamless IT, a bold new brand, a strategy built for what's next? Don't get left behind. Move forward with Kinetics. Visit kbisp.com and take the next step today.
970 AM, 104.9 FM, KSYO. To take part in the show, call 442-8255. That's 442-TALK-TALKBACK.
All right, we are back, and we do have some calls coming in on the BOM Bank Talk line. Let's go to those. Good morning. You're on Talkback.
Hey, Al and Steve. How y'all are there?
How's it going?
How's it going?
Good. They've got a thing coming up next month, July 6th, called the Rio Reset in Brazil. And the BRICS nations, Brazil, Russia, India, China, and either Saudi Arabia or South Africa, they're uniting to take the dollar off the world's reserve currency. And Saudi Arabia already did last year. They're not dealing with the petrodollar. So people need to be aware and get ready to get your Biden guns and Bible and bullets, because it's going to be on. If they try to dethrone the dollar, going to be in some big trouble.
Yeah.
So, Rio Reset, July the 6th.
All right. If our economy gets messed up, we'll blame it on Rio.
That's right.
All right. Thanks, Cornelius. Appreciate that. Yeah, that's a whole world, a financial world that I just have never been good at. As if you looked at my bank account, you'd understand. So some people are just really gifted at knowing how to make money. And
I know.
But I do think that maybe that is something we need to do a better job in this country of teaching financial understanding. Like when you're in high school, it should be like a mandatory class on
financial literacy.
Yeah, saving, investing, how compound interest works, all of those things, avoiding credit cards and credit card debt, and all that.
It's tough.
It is. But I think too, if there's a difference like in my parents' generation versus what we're seeing today is they usually didn't go into debt. They usually saved up to get things. So
I don't think banks were willing to give out loans.
Right, that's
as much.
true.
That's the thing.
Oh, that's very, very true. Very true. All right, another call coming in. Good morning. You're on Talkback.
Good morning.
Hey.
Really love the show. Just wanted to echo kind of what Stephen was finding out. It is not clear cut like it used to be back when I was looking for a house years ago when we bought them. It was more beneficial to purchase a home at that time than to rent, or it was clear cut. At this time, I looked at it for my daughter, who's probably about 26 years old, and that they ended up finally settling to buy a house, but it was not as clear cut as it used to be because home prices are so inflated. And with these interest rates, you start looking, like Steve said, you talk about, your escrow, you have to pay your taxes, your insurance and all that stuff. If you had to sell that house in 5 years, are you going to actually come out ahead by, trying to purchase versus you may be underwater with the home prices as they are right now.
And that's
my comment.
Yeah, for sure. We had Matt Ritchie, real estate guy, on a couple days ago, and he was saying that, a lot of people are having a hard time selling homes. I have some people in my family, personally, they cannot sell their home because they bought it at such a high price, and they're just trying to make a buck or two off, and it's tough. And that's
right.
It's a tough market right now to sell. So they're literally stuck.
All right, well, enjoy the show, and y'all take care.
Thank you so much. Appreciate the call. I feel like we could do a whole show on this.
I love it. It's interesting.
Yeah.
Because I'm one of the victims of it.
Maybe you get Matt or Trish.
That'd be a good idea.
Yeah.
Home buying crosstalk.
I know that both of them were recently in D.C. for the National Real Estate Convention, I believe.
Okay. Yeah.
And they were on Capitol Hill talking with several government leaders and things. So that'll be interesting to see where this administration takes the home market. I'm already hearing some really encouraging things about health insurance and what they're planning to do there. There was a big announcement yesterday that basically they're looking to eliminate. There's that period when you're between like insurance, what's
Cobra?
the term? Something now with like you have to get like prior authorization once you start something new. They're going to eliminate that. They say like 32 million Americans are impacted by this. So it seems like they're looking to streamline a lot of things. And you hear a lot of complaints about healthcare, just the paperwork and the red tape. Like they want to eliminate a lot of that.
This multi-payer system is a scam. We're all getting screwed, and we just accept it. Don't even get me started on health insurance.
Man. Okay.
I'd love to talk about that.
Well, we'll make that a topic one day.
Let's do it. You already got me hot and heated.
Tomorrow we'll have Greg Walker here. Always fun.
We'll talk about health insurance with him.
Listening to the opinions expressed were those of the hosts and callers, and not necessarily those of Cenlaw Broadcasting. FM 104.9, AM 970.